Welcome back to Getting Sober ... Again, my name is Jay, and today we're going to talk about hitting rock bottom. If you haven't yet, please subscribe down below because you're probably going to forget, right? I always forget. Literally, unless somebody reminds me, I'm like, oh yeah, I really like this channel. This person's really entertaining. I'll subscribe, or at least I'll like. I'm not really sure if I'm going to want to subscribe and make this big commitment to this free channel that I don't have to pay for. But if you could do both, you are the real MVP. So rock bottom, what is it? What happens? If you have a rock bottom story that you think you could fit into the comment section, comment below. But if you don't really want to put your business out there, that's fine. That's what I'm here for. So again, if you are following my channel, thank you very much. I really appreciate the support. This is a baby growing channel. I watch people come and go. I watch, the comments. Some people kind of ride along for a couple of days or a couple of weeks that are really inspired, or a couple of months, and then they'll just drop off, or they'll get busy with life. Ideally, I would like for you to not have to depend on. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where my cat went because he's gonna start crying because I locked the door. But ideally, you get to a place where you feel like you can live the rest of your life and you don't have to keep going to maybe AA meetings, but I'm not suggesting you not to go to AA meetings or 12-step or, whatever you're watching, Getting Sober Again, whatever it is, whatever your method of staying sober is. I want you to get to a place where you feel good about yourself and that you don't have to keep watching and absorbing and having the conversations, but those might be good resources, right? So I understand and I forgive people, and I'm always curious. There are people I remember from years ago, and there are people I remember from weeks ago, and I always say, like, comment below. I think like some of you think I'm joking. Like, my response rate is 100%. I have responded to every single message that has ever been sent to me, except for like maybe a few, like some of those, the spammy ones that are like ICO.YN. blah blah, whatever, spam. So anyway, so hitting rock bottom. I've talked about in previous episodes some of my worst moments. Just check out the headlines, the topics of the thumbnails, and you'll kind of get an idea. There was the jail story, getting handcuffed to the one-armed guy. There's that. There was the cross-country binge rescue mission with a friend who I was rescuing from a mental institute and ended up falling off the wagon. There's that. There's other stories that I've not talked about yet because I've not gotten 50 comments on that one particular video. But there are some, after I made those couple of videos, I was like, there were worse moments. But if I'm happy that I can laugh about it now, and I'm happy that you can laugh along with me, and I'm happy that you find value in this channel and that you can maybe learn from some of my mistakes. And I'm sure some of you have some super wild stories. And again, I don't want necessarily people to remember me for negative things I did in the past, but maybe for how I'm presently operating and how I'm moving past those instances of, say, rock bottom. So, by definition, rock bottom is the lowest fundamental layer, referring even to, in a literal term, bedrock, right? But when we think about rock bottom, there's always that mental fork in the road where we see the decision in front of us, whether it be one of your addictions, a pill or a needle or a line of cocaine or a bottle of booze, whatever it is, or whatever bad decision is in front of you. And then the angel pops up and is like, no, don't do that. And then the devil's like, do it. We see that. We see that path. We remember that from the cartoons, If you're watching like Popeye, there'd be like good Popeye with wings and a little halo, and there'd be the evil Popeye on the other shoulder, or Brutus would show up. But we know what a good decision is and a bad decision. But sometimes we're just kind of like, but it would be really wild if I did this thing. It would be really wild if I indulged in this thing in front of me. And sometimes we don't say no. I was thinking about the other day, what it must be like for people, like your first time in purchasing or actively pursuing some sort of an addiction. I remember the first time that I went to buy a pack of cigarettes. Which I know this isn't rock bottom, but I'm sure this is an interesting story, so I'm telling it. It was Halloween. It was back. I'm so old that I remember when you could smoke inside. That's how old I am. And I was, because I have long hair. I had long hair back then. Let's just say this was 2005, maybe 2004. And I dressed up as Slash for Halloween. I was like, I don't have a lot of money, but I can get like a crummy old costume hat, and I get like some little fake belt buckles from like Michael's or Pack of Tens or whatever your local craft store is. Fashion Bug, I don't know. And I made it look like the crazy Slash from Guns N' Roses, the guitarist from Guns N' Roses. So I dressed up as Slash. But if you remember all the old pictures, I think even sometimes still now, like he always had like a lit cigarette hanging from his lips. So the hair would be in his eyes, he had the top hat, and he had like the lit cigarette just kind of like hanging from his lip, and he was sunglasses, and he was super cool. And I borrowed my friend's guitar. That whole weekend, it was holiday weekend. So it was holiday party, holiday party, holiday parties. All weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I even went to the Chinese buffet dressed as Slash with a guitar and lit cigarette. I remember I had a lit cigarette at the restaurant, which nowadays sounds disgusting. And I didn't smoke. I was not a smoker then. And then I ended up, the buddy that let me borrow the guitar, he was like, you know you're gonna start smoking cigarettes, right? And I said, nope, because cigarettes are disgusting. I wasn't even really smoking them. They were just kind of lit in my mouth. And then, I took a couple of curiosity drags, but I was like, nah. But then I did realize, I put two and two together. I was like, you know what? Actually, what I did notice is that what goes really well with alcohol is cigarettes. And then so I bought a curiosity pack, right? And it was Parliament Lights, AKA P-Funks. And that's what that particular dude smoked. I was like, oh, well, look what we have in common. We make similar decisions. And then there's the camaraderie, in the joint's bad decision making, just like with drugs or alcohol or whatever it is that you do. And then that's what started that particular journey. But like I remember walking into that store, and it was kind of like slow motion. It was like almost like I was a slave to the event. And I'm sure that resonates with you, feeling like you are a slave to what's happening, like you're not in control of what's happening. But there have been a lot of times though, like, so what I wanted to get to with rock bottom is it's never too late to turn around, right? And you might not feel like you're in control. But part of the reason why you're watching this video is that you know that somewhere in there, that little kid is still in there. That little bowl cut Asian kid that I was, and maybe you were, or you were a little bowl cut girl, I don't know, whatever you were, comment below. But that little kid is still in there. That little kid that wants to play, and that little kid that wants to laugh, and that little kid that wants to be held, and that little kid that wants to feel safe, and that little kid that wants to know that they have a bright future is still inside of you. And that person isn't depending on their parents anymore. That person is depending on you as an adult. So hopefully you are well into a better situation in your life and you are far away from rock bottom. But if you're not, I strongly urge you to maybe backtrack a little bit. Maybe look in the rearview mirror. A lot of the societal pressure makes us feel like we can't turn around. It makes us feel like we can't turn around. We can't go back. We can't look back. We can't go back to the past. We can't look in the past. But sometimes it's not about the past, but sometimes the answers are back there. Sometimes we're too far gone that we've just been making straightforward progress off of our path. If our path is supposed to be a straight direction, we can still keep moving forward off a path and down a hill and down into the woods until we hit rock bottom, But sometimes, a lot of times, it takes a little bit of effort to try to figure out what direction the path is back on. Where is it? All you're surrounded by is trees. And you got to figure out, where did I come from? So it's like, maybe, all right, let's backtrack. Let's look for our foot tracks. Let's look for our tire tracks. Let's try to get back to where we were happiest. What was making me happy? And doing all those things that you said, like, well, I used to play guitar and it used to make me really happy. Well, probably picking up a guitar isn't gonna, fix your marriage right off the bat. It's not gonna go back and get you that raise that you wanted, and then you decided the person who got it they didn't deserve it, and then you just started drinking heavily, or whatever the circumstances that made you get to a rock bottom position. But if you are in a position that you still have your house and your home, and that you have most of your teeth and your limbs are still working, and you have most of your health and your wealth, and if you have somebody that loves you, if you have a family, you have children that depend on you, it's a gamble. Life is a gamble. Alcoholism and addiction is a gamble. And that also might be one of your problems. One of our problems is that we think, well, we still have a little bit left. We're not that bad. We'll get around to it. We'll get around to being sober. We'll get around to making a better decision. You believe, that little kid in there believes in you. But you maybe have lost the belief in yourself. That's the hurdle that we need to get past. That's the point that you need to turn around, or look side to side at least, and try to figure out what is around you. Where else can you go other into deep waters, or into rock bottom, or continue on with this sinking ship, or whatever other analogy or bumper sticker you want to apply to this. It's never too late. You may have lost money. You may have lost friends. You may have lost a relationship. You may have had to bury somebody, but you haven't had to bury yourself. Not yet. And there's still plenty of time to leave a great legacy behind you. There's still time for people to tell a new story about you, a new story about recovery, a new story about you putting your foot down and putting a stop to all of the negative trauma and all of the negative momentum. All the weight of it's still behind you. And I know it's easy just to go back to your watering hole. It's easy to just go back and sit next to the person that you always sit next to, and have a chat with your favorite bartender, and have that quantity of friendships over the quality of friendships. And in this stage, right now, for me personally, it's a little lonely. I'm not gonna lie to you. I pretty much, I'm staying away from all the places that I used to frequent. Fortunately and unfortunately, this is still the time of COVID, so a lot of places are closed. So some of the places I can't even go to. But I'm reestablishing friendships and relationships with people, trying to have deeper relationships with my family, with a few of my friends, so I can have a better quality of relationship. And I've not gotten rid of, but I've just temporarily set aside my quantity of friendships, my drinking buddies, my party friends. I put that aside because that wasn't serving me. We were just there with each other, heading down in the sinking ship together, and just keeping each other company while the Titanic sinks. And we're just playing our instruments and just watching this thing go down, and not making any effort to get on a lifeboat and get out of there, So if you can see rock bottom, if you could see your trajectory, you know better. I'm not trying to lecture you, but you know better. That same voice is in my head is the same voice in your head. Yours just might have a different accent. That's all. It's the same voice that's guiding all of us. I don't know where that voice comes from, and I'm presuming I'm not crazy, and you're not either. We just need a little bit of encouragement sometimes. So look back if you need to, figure out where you need to go. It is not too late to observe rock bottom before you get there. You might say, well, I'm only a couple steps away from it. Why not? Why not go all in? Why not put my last $100 on playing the lottery, or my last $100 on a bag of cocaine, or a couple of bottles, buy 2 bottles of Jack, or whatever it is. I don't know how much heroin costs, but whatever it is, it's not too late. You still have Wi-Fi. So it's definitely not too late. You have a mobile device or a tablet or a laptop that you can even watch this. So hats off to you, and thank you for being on this journey with me. And whatever you want to comment below. Any resources for sobriety, for other YouTube creators, any other videos, please comment below. Tell me about your day. If you're lonely, comment below. Tell me what you're happy about. Tell me what makes you nervous. Tell me a joke. Comment below. This is a community. Talk to some of the other people. So that's what this is all here for. And I look forward to talking to you. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to seeing how many likes this video gets, because it makes me happy. And that's going to be it for today. So I will see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.